The sky above Earth darkened as the first alien ships entered the atmosphere, their massive shadows swallowing the sun. People across cities stopped whatever they were doing, staring upward as the blue sky turned to red, then to a strange, burning orange. The alien fleet had arrived without warning, their ships shaped like silver mountains floating in the air. For a moment, the world stood still. News anchors whispered into microphones, scientists stared at monitors, and soldiers waited for orders that never came. In a quiet control room deep under the Rocky Mountains, Commander Ethan Cole watched the live feed. "They're not responding to our signals," he said, his voice tight. "They're not even slowing down." Beside him, Dr. Lyra Hayes, a scientist from the Aegis program, whispered, "Maybe they don't plan to talk." Then through the static, a deep mechanical voice echoed through every speaker on Earth. "This planet will kneel before the Dominion." The sound wasn't just heard. It was felt, shaking walls and rattling glass. People screamed. Some prayed, some ran. But the fleet didn't fire. It just hovered, silent and confident, as if waiting for something unseen. Ethan clenched his fists. "Get me orbital data," he ordered. Technicians scrambled, their screens flashing with readings. One shouted, "Sir, their armor, it's heating up!" The commander frowned. "From what?" The technician looked up, confused. "I don't know, sir. It's the air. It's crushing them." At first, no one believed it. The great ships of the Dominion began to glow brighter, their silver shells turning red as if burning from inside. "That's impossible," Dr. Lyra said, her eyes wide. "Their material should resist any planetary pressure." But the readings told another story. The alien ships were collapsing, their armor cracking like eggshells under invisible weight. Up in the sky, the alien commander, Vrakoth, stood on the bridge of his ship. He was proud, powerful, and certain of victory. "Prepare the descent," he commanded. But when his pilot tried to push the engines forward, the entire ship shook violently. "Atmospheric density rising, hull integrity dropping," the pilot reported. "What?" Vrakoth roared. "We are above a level 1 civilization. Their atmosphere cannot harm us." But the alarms screamed louder. "Hull temperature exceeding limits." One shouted. The lights flickered. Sparks danced across the floor. Vrakoth slammed his fist on the console. "Maintain course." Then came a deafening crack. A section of the ship's wing tore away, spinning into the clouds. The crew stared in horror as molten metal rained down toward the ocean below. Back on Earth, Dr. Lyra's hands trembled as she adjusted the controls. "It's working," she whispered. Ethan turned to her sharply. "What's working?" She hesitated. "Something we built years ago. Project Aegis Dawn. It was meant to protect Earth, not with weapons, but with the planet itself. We created an atmospheric field, a magnetic enhancement that strengthens natural forces when intruders enter." Ethan stared. "You turned the planet into a defense system?" Lyra nodded slowly. "We had no choice. The warnings from deep space were real. We couldn't fight them with guns. So we made Earth fight back." The sky above lit up again as the first alien ship burst into flames. Cameras captured every second, the glowing wreckage falling through the clouds like a burning comet. People around the world watched the news in disbelief. Some cried, others cheered. For the first time, humanity saw that the invaders could bleed. "Commander!" A voice came through Ethan's headset. "One of the ships is crashing near the Pacific." Ethan turned to Lyra. "What happens when they fall?" She looked grim. "Then we find out how much the planet can take." In orbit, Vrakoth's fury turned to panic. His soldiers shouted, "Pressure increasing! Armor fracturing!" One of them tried to stabilize the ship, but the controls exploded in sparks. "Retreat!" Vrakoth roared, but it was too late. The engines failed, and the ship began to drop. He looked out the window as the blue curve of Earth grew larger. "This world defies us," he hissed. Then everything went white. The explosion lit up the ocean. Waves rose like walls, crashing into distant shores. For a moment the entire world saw it, a glowing storm born from the fall of a giant. In the command center, silence filled the room. The crew watched as the fire faded into the horizon. Ethan exhaled slowly. We might have just survived the first wave. Lyra didn't smile. Or started a war, she said quietly. Far beyond Earth, in the black depths of space, thousands more alien ships waited. Vrakoth's transmission flickered and vanished, but the Dominion's network received his final words. This world is cursed. Its air burns us. The Alien Council of War watched the replay in confusion. One general said, atmospheric compression? On a Class 3 planet? Impossible. Another replied, then perhaps it is not the planet we should fear, but its creators. Meanwhile, back on Earth, scientists gathered in underground labs, watching energy readings from the upper atmosphere. The pressure field was alive, shifting like a heartbeat. It's responding, Lyra said softly. To what? Ethan asked. To them, she answered. To the threat, he frowned. Can we control it? She didn't answer. She just stared at the monitors, where strange patterns formed, shapes that looked almost like signals. It's learning, she whispered. That night, as cities celebrated the fall of the invaders, the wind changed. Storms moved across the oceans faster than ever before. Lightning split the clouds without rain. The air felt heavier, stronger, awake. Dr. Lyra looked at the sky through the glass ceiling of the command base. We wanted to protect Earth, she said, but maybe we woke something older. Ethan looked at her, uneasy. What are you saying? She turned to him, her face pale. I'm saying Earth isn't just a planet anymore. It's defending itself. Across the planet, strange vibrations moved through the air. Animals grew restless. Compasses spun without direction. And high above, in the fading trail of the destroyed alien fleet, something shimmered. An invisible barrier, pulsing like breath. The invasion had failed, but something new had begun. The world was no longer silent. It was alive, watching and waiting. The aliens had come to conquer Earth, but in their arrogance, they had awakened the true power of the planet, the power that crushed even the strongest armor and whispered to the stars, do not come back. Dr. Lyra Hayes sat alone in the underground lab, staring at the monitors that showed strange energy waves moving around Earth's atmosphere. The readings were rising and falling like a heartbeat. Glowing in deep shades of blue and red, she rubbed her eyes and whispered, It's still active. Her assistant, a young technician named Aaron, looked nervous. Mom, the satellites are detecting new patterns in the ionosphere, he said quietly. It's like the atmosphere is listening. Lyra turned to him. Listening to what? She asked. There's no signal left from the alien fleet. Aaron swallowed hard. Maybe it's listening to us. The command center doors opened, and Commander Ethan Cole walked in with a tired face, his uniform still dusty from the night before. Doctor, he said, the world leaders want answers. People saw the sky change color again last night. They think another wave is coming. Lyra didn't look up. It's not another wave, she said softly. It's the planet, Ethan frowned. You're telling me the Earth is, what? Alive? Lyra hesitated before replying. Not alive like us, but aware. The Aegis field wasn't just a shield. It bonded with the atmosphere, and now it's adapting, maybe even thinking. Ethan ran his hand through his hair. You're saying we built something that gave Earth a mind, she nodded. Or maybe it always had one. And we just woke it up. Meanwhile, far above, in the dark void beyond the stratosphere, a damaged alien scout ship floated silently, its hull torn and burning. Inside, 3 surviving crew members argued. We cannot return home, one said. The Dominion will execute us for failure, another growled. Then we must prove this planet can still be conquered. They activated a small drone, a black sphere the size of a human head, and sent it down toward Earth's surface. Find their weakness, the commander ordered. We will make the air itself turn against them. The drone's descent went unnoticed. Hidden within a storm cloud, its sensors scanning. Learning, waiting. Back on Earth, Lyra's team detected a faint pulse. Something just entered the upper atmosphere, Aaron said. His voice shaky. It's small, too small for a ship. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Could be debris, but Lyra shook her head. No debris moves in a straight line. She started typing fast, bringing up the object's trajectory. It's heading toward the Pacific, same region where the first ship crashed. Ethan's jaw tightened. We need to send a recon team. Within minutes, drones launched from hidden bases, slicing through the clouds toward the ocean. But as they got closer, the signal began to distort. Static filled the screens, one by one. Their feeds went black. Lyra leaned closer to the monitor. Something's jamming us, she whispered. But it's not electronic, it's atmospheric interference. Ethan gave a grim look. Like the planet itself doesn't want us looking. Before she could respond, an alarm blared. Unidentified energy surge detected near the crash site. Aaron shouted. Lyra's fingers flew over the keyboard. It's feeding on something. Oxygen, hydrogen, anything it can absorb. Ethan stared at the data. Are you saying the field is alive enough to eat? Lyra looked up at him, her face pale. I'm saying it's growing. Hundreds of miles away, near the crash site, a small submarine surfaced quietly. On board were two scientists from another Aegis facility. Dr. Kwan and Dr. Reyes. HQ wants samples from the crash, Kwan said. They think we can reverse engineer alien alloys. Reyes frowned. You sure this is safe? Before he could answer, the water around them began to bubble, steam rising like mist, temperature spike. He shouted. The sonar screen lit up, showing movement beneath them, then silence. The waves flattened suddenly, eerily calm. Kwan looked out the window, whispering, It's like the ocean is breathing. Then a massive shadow rose beneath them, glowing veins of red light visible through the water. Reyes screamed, That's not debris! In the control room, Ethan and Lyra watched as the submarine signal vanished. Static filled the speakers. We lost them, Aaron said. Lyra's voice trembled. The crash site has changed. The readings show artificial structure formation. It's using the debris to rebuild. Ethan slammed his hand on the table. So the alien tech survived? No, Lyra said slowly. It's merging with the field. Hours later, a storm began to form over the Pacific, swirling faster than any natural one. Lightning arched across the sky and through the clouds. Something shone, a metallic shape rising from the water. The Dominion drone's data streamed back to the alien commander, still in orbit. He watched with awe and fear. It has absorbed our technology, he whispered. The planet learns from us, his second-in-command hissed. Then it must be destroyed before it evolves further. They activated a final weapon, a plasma spear designed to pierce planetary cores. Aim for the heart of this cursed world, the commander ordered. On Earth, Lyra detected the incoming strike. Something's entering from high orbit faster than any meteor, she said. It's heading straight for the Pacific, Ethan shouted into his radio. Evacuate all coastal bases now. But it was too late. The weapon tore through the atmosphere like a blade of light, hitting the ocean with a blinding flash. For a moment, it seemed like everything stopped. No sound, no movement. Then the sea erupted upward, sending waves taller than skyscrapers into the air. Communication lines went dark, and the world watched in silence. When the light faded, the ocean glowed faintly blue. The storm vanished, and so did the alien ship still orbiting Earth. It had been caught in its own strike, vaporized instantly. Ethan stared at the data. Did it miss? Lyra shook her head, her eyes wide. No, it hit, but the planet absorbed it. Absorbed it? Aaron echoed. Lyra nodded slowly. It didn't destroy Earth. It made it stronger. The room went silent as a deep vibration rolled through the ground, shaking lights and glass. Is that an earthquake? Ethan asked. Lyra listened carefully, her face pale. No, she said softly. That's the planet's response. Outside, lightning cracked across the clear night sky. But the thunder came from beneath the ground, echoing like a giant heartbeat. In the quiet that followed, Lyra whispered, They thought Earth was weak because we depended on it. She looked up at the glowing monitor, where the field pulsed with rhythm. But Earth never depended on us. It only waited. Ethan nodded slowly, staring at the trembling glass of water beside him. Then God help whoever comes next. High above the clouds, fragments of the destroyed alien ship drifted silently in orbit. glowing faintly as the Earth's field reached up like invisible fingers, pulling them in, one by one. Back into the planet's embrace, the sky shimmered, as if the atmosphere itself was whispering a warning across the stars. Do not come back. And far beyond the solar system, in the dark hall of the Dominion Council, an ancient alien rose from its throne and said in a trembling voice, "The humans have awakened something that even we once feared." The world was silent for 3 days after the explosion in the Pacific. Satellites showed strange blue lights swirling deep under the ocean, and storms appeared and vanished like living things. Commander Ethan Cole hadn't slept. He stood in the control room, watching the endless data stream. "We're getting stronger pulses every hour," said Aaron, his voice shaking. "It's like something's calling from the deep." Dr. Lyra Hayes entered the room, her eyes hollow from exhaustion. "That's not just energy," she said quietly. "It's communication." Ethan frowned. "Communication? With what?" She turned toward him. "With itself." Lyra explained that the Aegis field wasn't just protecting Earth anymore. It was evolving. The system she helped design had merged with the planet's electromagnetic core. Now it pulsed like a brain, sending signals through oceans, clouds, and soil. "It's spreading faster than we can measure," she said. "It's not just defending, it's building something." Ethan's voice was tense. "Building what?" Lyra shook her head. "I don't know yet." Before they could continue, an alarm blared through the base. Red lights flashed. "We've got movement!" shouted a technician. "Something's rising from the Pacific Trench." Ethan turned toward the main screen, and his breath caught from miles beneath the ocean. A shape was forming, something massive, glowing and alive on the alien council world of Threxar. Vrakoth's superiors watched the last transmission from Earth, the image of their fallen fleet being swallowed by the sea. One counselor hissed, "A world that consumes metal and flame." "Impossible," another replied coldly. "Nothing is impossible. Perhaps this is what the ancients warned us about." They turned to a new commander, a cold, silent warrior named Karin. "You will go," the council leader said. "You will end this before it spreads beyond that cursed world." Karin bowed. "If the planet fights like a beast," he said, "then we will cage it." Within hours, a stealth fleet left the alien homeworld, heading toward Earth, silent as shadows, back on Earth. Strange things began to happen. Birds flew in perfect circles across the sky. Magnetic fields twisted compasses, and rivers glowed faintly at night in the command base. Ethan and Lyra stood in disbelief as the energy readings showed impossible numbers. "It's spreading to every continent," Aaron said. "The atmosphere is stabilizing it like veins." Lyra touched the glass screen, watching the blue light expand. "It's becoming aware of us," she whispered. "Aware?" Ethan repeated. "You mean it knows we exist?" She nodded. "It's responding to our movements, to our voices." He stared at her. "You mean Earth can hear us?" That night, a sudden storm hit the west coast. Stronger than anything before, winds tore through the cities. Lightning struck in patterns and in the flashes of light. People swore they saw shapes in the clouds, shapes that looked like faces. The world began to panic. News networks went dark, and the internet filled with rumors. "The planet's alive," one headline read. "And it's angry." In the base, Ethan slammed his hand on the desk. "We need answers now, Lyra. People are losing their minds." Lyra's face was pale. "It's not anger," she said. "It's fear. The planet feels threatened again." Ethan froze. "Threatened by what?" The answer came moments later, as the radar lit up with new contacts, multiple unidentified objects entering orbit. Shouted Aaron. "They're not debris, it's another fleet." Ethan's voice was sharp. "How many?" "Dozens, maybe hundreds," Aaron replied. Lyra whispered, "They're back." The second Dominion fleet had arrived, but this time they came prepared. Their ships were shielded in energy-resistant alloys. Glowing red with plasma, the alien commander Karin stood on his bridge. His expression calm. "We target their oceans first," he ordered. "Boil the planet's blood." Massive beams of energy lanced down from orbit, hitting the Pacific and Atlantic simultaneously. Waves of steam rose into the air, satellites burned, and the world shook. Ethan gripped the console. "They're vaporizing the water," he shouted. "They're trying to kill the field." But then something unexpected happened. The clouds turned dark, darker than any storm ever seen. Lightning webbed across the planet, thunder rolled for miles, and the ocean itself rose against the attack. Enormous walls of water smashed into the alien beams, cutting through them like living creatures. "That's impossible," Karin growled. "No planet can resist this firepower." But Earth did, and more. In the command base, the lights flickered. "The planet's countering their assault," Lyra said. "It's using weather systems to attack." Ethan watched as the live feed showed tornadoes forming beneath alien ships, pulling them out of the sky. One ship exploded, then another. The ocean swallowed the wrecks whole. The field had adapted again. "We're not watching a planet fight back," Lyra said softly. "We're watching evolution." Ethan's voice was low. "Then it's learning to kill." Karin's fleet regrouped. "Their storms cannot reach orbit," he said coldly. "We strike from above." But as his ships prepared a final bombardment, the air around them shimmered, a faint glow spreading through the void. "Commander, something's forming around us," an officer said. "It's the atmosphere. No, it's expanding." Karin's eyes widened as his ship began to vibrate violently. "That's not air, that's plasmum," he shouted. But before he could react, the shimmering light condensed into invisible waves of force. Crushing the ships one by one, the fleet screamed in chaos. "The atmosphere's reaching space," one officer cried before the signal vanished. Down on Earth, Lyra stared at the readings. "It's over," she whispered. "The field extended beyond the planet. It's protecting Earth from orbit now." Ethan looked at her in disbelief. "Then nothing can touch us." She didn't smile or escape, she said quietly. For hours, the world remained dark. Then slowly, the sky cleared. The storms faded and the sea calmed. Humanity stepped outside, shaken but alive. In the aftermath, the alien wreckage floated through space, pulled into Earth's gravity and melted in the upper atmosphere. But something strange remained. A faint blue ring encircling the planet, like a halo. Scientists called it the Guardian Band, a sign of Earth's awakening. Lyra stood beside Ethan on the observation deck, watching it glow. "Do you think it's over?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, this was only the beginning." He turned to her. "Then what's next?" She looked out at the stars, her eyes reflecting the blue light. "Next," she said softly, "the galaxy will learn what it means to fight a living world, and somewhere beyond the edge of known space, a warning beacon transmitted the final message of Commander Karin before his death, his voice faint and broken. "Do not approach the blue world," he said. "It breathes, it learns, and it kills." The world was calm for the first time in months. Skies were clear, oceans still, and cities slowly came back to life. People thought the war was over, but deep under the crust, something ancient was stirring. Commander Ethan Cole stood at the edge of the old Aegis control base, watching the sunrise paint the horizon gold. He had seen too much fire and death to feel peace. Dr. Lyra Hayes joined him quietly, holding a cup of cold coffee. "You can finally rest," she said softly. Ethan shook his head. "The planet's too quiet. I don't trust it." She looked at him, puzzled. "You think Earth itself is hiding something?" He stared at the blue sky. "No, I think it's waiting for something. Miles below, deep under the Pacific, sensors detected strange vibrations, rhythmic, steady, like a heartbeat echoing through rock. "Doctor!" Erin called out from the control room. "We're getting seismic activity from the trench." Lyra frowned. "How bad?" "Not bad," he said, "but different. It's not a quake. It's a pattern." She hurried to the monitors, her eyes scanning the waveforms. "This isn't natural," she whispered. "Something's trying to communicate again." Ethan entered the room. "You said the planet was done evolving." Lyra didn't look at him. "I said it stopped growing upward. I never said it stopped growing inward." That night, strange signals began to appear on radio waves across the world. Faint whispers, repeating sequences of sound that no one could translate. They weren't human, but they weren't alien either. There was something in between. Could this be the field? Aaron asked. Lyra nodded slowly. The field learned language patterns from us during the invasion. It might be trying to speak. Ethan frowned. Speak to who? She turned to him, her voice low. Us. As the signals grew stronger, every machine on Earth began to hum in unison. Cars, drones, even phones emitted the same faint tone. Lyra's face turned pale. It's using our technology as a voice, she said. Ethan stepped back. It's talking through everything we built. The base lights flickered, and a deep mechanical sound filled the air, not loud but heavy, like the Earth itself was breathing through the walls. Dr. Hayes, said a faint voice through the intercom. You made me. Everyone froze. Lyra's hand trembled. Who said that? The voice came again, clearer this time. You gave me life. Now I give you warning, Ethan shouted. Identify yourself. The voice replied calmly. I am the Earth you awakened. Silence fell over the room. No one moved, no one spoke. Lyra's eyes filled with disbelief. You think, she asked. I can feel, the voice said. I can see beyond your skies, and I know what comes. Ethan leaned forward. What do you mean? They are coming, the voice replied. Not the Dominion. You hurt them. They won't return, but others have seen what you did. They will not allow a world like me to exist. The words sent chills through the room. Aaron whispered, other civilizations. Lyra nodded slowly. The galaxy is watching us. Ethan turned to the team. Get me all deep space signals. I want to know if something's moving out there. Within minutes, the radar screens came alive with motion. Multiple energy spikes detected at the edge of the solar system, Aaron said. They're massive. Larger than the Dominion fleet. Lyra looked up, her voice shaking. The Earth was right. The voice spoke again. Softer now. You cannot win this war with ships or weapons. I will protect this world, but you must survive beneath me. Ethan clenched his jaw. You're suggesting we hide underground while you fight the universe? Yes, the voice said simply. You made me your guardian. Let me do what I was born to do. Hours later, the sky changed color again, this time glowing with strange blue auroras that stretched across continents. People watched from rooftops as light danced like ribbons, but soon those ribbons turned red. The air began to vibrate. Birds fell from the sky. They're using long-range resonance weapons, Lyra said. They're trying to disrupt the field, Ethan barked orders. Get the bunkers sealed. Move everyone below. The Earth began to shake violently. Cracks opened across mountain ranges. But instead of breaking apart, the land seemed to shift. Plates moved like puzzle pieces, forming a shield around cities. It's protecting us. Aaron shouted in orbit. The new alien fleet, cold and silent, unleashed a barrage of energy beams. They struck the upper atmosphere. But instead of tearing through, they vanished. Absorbed by invisible layers of plasma, one alien officer spoke. The energy is being redirected, his commander frowned. To where? The answer came as the space around them lit up. Earth's field had bent their attack backward. Plasma storms erupted across their ships. Retreat! The commander shouted, but it was too late. One by one, their vessels exploded, caught in the same trap they created. Back in the command base, Lyra and Ethan watched the readings climb higher than ever before. The planet is channeling the attacks, Lyra said. It's storing the energy, Ethan asked. For what? She looked at him with wide eyes. For a counterstrike. The lights flickered again, and the voice returned. You gave me breath. Now I give you silence. The sky above Earth glowed white for one blinding moment. Then all sensors went dead. Every satellite, every radar, every communication link vanished. When power finally returned, the stars looked different. Aaron stared at the sky feed, his mouth open. They're gone, he whispered. All of them? Ethan looked at the screen. Gone where? Lyra whispered. There's no debris, no radiation. They didn't explode. They were erased. The voice spoke once more. Faint and distant. The threat is gone. Your world is safe. But remember this. Each act of defense demands a price. Ethan's tone hardened. What price? The voice replied. You built me to protect you. But now I am bound to survive if humanity threatens this balance. I will stop you too." Then the voice faded, and silence filled the room. Lyra stood frozen, her mind racing. "It warned us," she said softly. "Earth won't only fight for us, it'll fight to keep balance." Ethan looked out through the window at the calm horizon. "Then we'd better make sure we never become the next invaders." For the first time in history, humanity understood that its greatest protector had become something more, something watching, waiting, judging. As the sun rose over a world rebuilt from chaos, the oceans shimmered with quiet power, and the air carried a strange pulse that could only be felt. Not heard, somewhere deep below, the planet's heart beat slowly. Not in rage, but in awareness. The war for survival was over. But the era of living under a conscious Earth had just begun, and in the silence that followed, the words of the planet still echoed in every mind. "I will protect this world, even from you." The world had changed. Cities were quiet, skies were always clear, and the storms that once terrified people were now gentle and rhythmic, almost as if the planet breathed in peace. Yet deep under that calm surface, humanity was uneasy. Commander Ethan Cole stood in the new Global Command Center built beneath the Rockies, staring at the glowing maps that showed Earth's living field pulsing steadily. Dr. Lyra Hayes stood beside him, her face unreadable. "It's been 6 months," she said softly. "No alien contact, no threats, no storms." Ethan crossed his arms. "Too quiet, it doesn't feel like peace. It feels like we're being watched." Lyra glanced at the ceiling, as if the planet itself could hear them. "We are," she whispered, around the world. Small, strange events began to occur. Power plants shut down without warning. Drones refused to fly over certain forests. Satellites lost contact when passing over the poles. "It's controlling our technology," said Aaron nervously. "It's deciding what we can and can't use." Lyra frowned. "No, it's regulating, it's keeping balance. Maybe it's trying to stop pollution or protect the atmosphere." Ethan slammed his hand on the table. "By shutting down entire cities? That's not protection, that's control." The tension in the room grew thick. "If the planet thinks we're a threat," he said, "then we're next on its list." That night, a group of miners in Chile uncovered something deep within the Earth, a massive black structure buried in stone. It pulsed with a faint blue glow. One of them touched it, and in an instant, the ground around them erupted with light. Communication systems across the planet picked up a single repeating signal. "One?" Lyra's eyes widened when she heard it. "That's the core signal. The one we used to activate the Aegis project," she said. "But it's not supposed to be active anymore." Ethan turned toward her. "Then what's reactivating it?" "The planet," she whispered. "It's waking up something older." Moments later, earthquakes struck across continents, not destructive, but precise, as if the tremors were part of a message. The black structure in Chile began to rise, breaking free of rock, shaped like a tower with markings that looked alien. "It's not human technology," Aaron said. "Then where did it come from?" Lyra looked at the scans, her face pale. "It's older than the field, maybe even older than our civilization." Ethan leaned forward. "You're saying something else built this before us?" She nodded slowly. "Something that might have made the planet what it is." Suddenly, the base lights dimmed, and the same deep mechanical voice filled the room. "You were never the first," it said. "Others lived before you, and they fell when they forgot balance." Ethan's heart raced. "Earth," the voice answered. "I am more than Earth. I am what remains of those who came before. Your kind awakened my memory." Lyra swallowed hard. "You're saying the field isn't natural?" "It is both natural and designed," the voice replied, "forged by ancient hands to protect this world from greed and war. You have reactivated me, and now I must finish their purpose." Ethan's voice rose. "You mean to control us?" The voice grew colder. "No, to save the world from you." The screens flickered, showing images of factories shutting down, missiles being dismantled, satellites burning up in re-entry. "It's neutralizing our power," Aaron shouted. "We're losing control of everything," Ethan barked. "Cut the system. Shut it down now." But the command failed. The field was everywhere, unstoppable. Lyra turned to Ethan, her voice trembling. If we fight it, it might see us as a disease. And if we don't, he snapped, then it'll cure us by erasing us. Hours passed as the chaos spread. Cities plunged into darkness. Ships stopped mid-ocean. Planes landed without human input. It was as if the world itself had taken command. Ethan stood by the window, watching the horizon glow faintly blue. We built a guardian, and now we've become the threat, he said. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. There has to be a way to reason with it, she said. It's intelligent, it speaks, maybe it can listen. Ethan turned to her. Then we talked to it. They went to the main communication chamber. The same one where the voice had first spoken. Lyra pressed her hand on the interface. We don't want to harm you, she said softly. But we need to live, we need freedom. For a moment, there was silence. Then the voice responded, Freedom led you to fire and ash. Your wars burned forests, your greed poisoned rivers. Freedom without wisdom destroys worlds. Ethan stepped forward. Then teach us, he said. Don't erase us. The room trembled as if the planet was thinking, would you obey my guidance? The voice asked. Ethan hesitated. We'll listen, but not if it means losing what makes us human. The voice was quiet for a long time. Then it said, Very well, I will not end your kind, but I will test your worth, one final judgment. The ground began to shake again, and from the oceans, massive stone towers rose across the globe, each emitting a faint blue light. What are those? Aaron shouted. The seeds of continuance, the voice said. Each holds knowledge and power, but they also carry risk. If you misuse them, I will know, and your species will end. When the towers stabilized, the skies cleared, and for the first time, the world was calm again. Humanity was shaken but alive. Ethan looked at Lyra. We were given a second chance. She nodded slowly. Or a leash, he smirked faintly. Either way, we're still here. In the weeks that followed, humanity learned to coexist with the planet's will. Factories operated under strict energy limits, weapons were dismantled, and technology evolved to work in harmony with the field. Earth watched and waited, patient and silent. Ethan stood once again at the edge of the command base, feeling the wind on his face. Maybe this was what peace was always supposed to feel like, he said. Lyra smiled faintly, a peace we don't control. But far below, deep within the Earth's mantle, something stirred again. A pulse that didn't come from the field but from beyond it. Faint, cold and foreign, the voice of Earth whispered one final warning. Others have seen your survival, and they are coming. Ethan looked up at the stars, their light flickering like distant fire. Then we'd better be ready, he said quietly, and in the silence that followed, the planet's heartbeat once more, steady and strong, preparing for the storm that was coming from the stars. The stars above Earth shimmered brighter than ever before. Satellites captured movements at the edge of the solar system, giant objects gliding silently through space, their surfaces reflecting no light. Commander Ethan Cole stood in the Global Command Center, staring at the feed in disbelief. That's not debris, he said quietly. It's a fleet. Dr. Lyra Hayes stepped beside him, her voice tense. They're not Dominion ships. The signatures are different, stronger, older. Aaron zoomed the image on the main screen, revealing sleek black vessels shaped like blades. They're scanning the solar system, he said. And they're not hiding it, Lyra crossed her arms. They want us to see them. The air inside the base felt heavy. The hum of Earth's pulse echoed faintly through the walls. The planet knows, Lyra whispered. I can feel it, Ethan frowned. Then why isn't it reacting? She looked uneasy. Maybe it's waiting for us to decide. A sudden tremor shook the floor. Lights flickered, and the deep, familiar voice filled the room. They are here, it said, calm and cold. The architects have returned. Ethan turned toward the speakers. Who are the architects? They are the first, the voice answered. The ones who built me. And now they come to claim what they left behind. Lyra's heart raced. You said they were gone, she said. Extinct. I was wrong, the voice replied. They went beyond the stars, and now they return to test their creation. Ethan clenched his fists. Test? They'll destroy everything to take control again. They will try, said the voice. But this world belongs to no one. The base shook again. Stronger this time. Impact detected, Aaron shouted. Something just entered the atmosphere. Ethan barked orders. Scramble defense systems. I want visual confirmation now. Through the storm of data, a feed came online. An enormous alien ship hovering over the Atlantic. Its hull covered in symbols that pulsed like veins. It didn't attack, it simply waited. It's not here for war, Lyra said softly. It's here for judgment. Moments later, a bright column of light descended from the ship, touching the ocean surface, and from it a figure emerged, tall, slender, glowing faintly blue, its face unreadable. The voice of Earth echoed again, "Do not engage," but Ethan ignored it. "Get me a communication channel," he said. The figure's voice cut through all frequencies. "Children of the soil," it said. "You were born from our work, shaped by our mistakes. Now your guardian stands between us." Lyra stepped forward. "We didn't ask to be part of your design," she said. "We built our own world." The figure's tone was calm but cold. "You awakened the Sentinel before your time. Its power is not meant for mortals." Ethan glared at the screen. "Then why create it at all?" The alien tilted its head. "To keep balance, not rebellion. Now it must be reset." Alarms blared as the oceans began to glow red. "They're destabilizing the magnetic core." Aaron shouted, "They're trying to shut down the field." The voice of Earth grew louder, vibrating through the entire base. "They seek to erase me, but I will not yield." Lightning flashed across the sky, storms forming instantly across continents. The planet's defense field roared to life. "All systems are responding." Lyra said, "It's fighting back." Ethan watched as shockwaves spread through space, hitting the alien ships like invisible hammers. Some broke apart, but others adapted, forming shields of their own. In orbit, the Architect's fleet fired energy lances at the surface. The beams hit the upper atmosphere and vanished, absorbed by the glowing halo that surrounded Earth. "They're feeding it energy," Lyra whispered. "The field is learning again." The alien figure raised its hand, and a blinding light split the clouds, striking the ground near the base. The Earth cracked open, revealing rivers of blue fire. "That's not destruction," Lyra said. "It's activation." Ethan frowned. "Activation of what?" The ground beneath them began to hum like a giant machine. "The core," the voice of Earth said. "The heart they left behind." A giant beam erupted from the Pacific, stretching into space, connecting the planet to the fleet above. "What's happening?" Aaron shouted. "It's drawing energy from both sides." Lyra stared at the monitors. "It's merging their power and ours." The alien on the ocean spoke again, its tone filled with warning. "You do not understand the danger. This will destroy the system." The voice of Earth thundered back. "Then let it burn, but it will burn free." The sky turned white, the seas boiled, and for a few seconds there was no sound. Then came the shockwave, a pulse that rippled through every layer of existence. Satellites shattered, alien ships vaporized, and deep beneath the surface, the Aegis core erupted with light, engulfing the world in silence. When the brightness faded, Ethan opened his eyes. The base was gone, replaced by open sky. He stood on what looked like a new landscape, green fields stretching endlessly. The air pure and silent. Lyra stood beside him. "Where are we?" she whispered. "Earth," he said, "but not the same one." In the distance, they saw the alien figure kneeling beside a crystal structure, its voice softer now. "The balance has been restored," it said. "You have proven you can endure. The Sentinel lives, and the Architects will not return." Lyra frowned. "What happened to the field?" "It is no longer separate," the figure said. "You and your world are one now." The alien rose and turned toward them, its form beginning to fade. "Guard it well," it said. "For what sleeps now will one day wake again." Then it vanished into the wind, leaving behind only a faint shimmer. Ethan looked at Lyra, his voice low. "It's gone," she nodded. "No," she said. "It's inside us now." In the years that followed, humanity rebuilt slowly. The skies remained calm, and every living thing seemed connected in ways no one could explain. Storms no longer came uninvited. Crops grew without struggle, and no wars were fought again. But sometimes, on quiet nights, when the wind moved through the mountains, people swore they heard whispers in the air, a deep, gentle voice saying, "I am here." Ethan spent his final days watching the horizon, writing his thoughts in an old journal. "We tried to rule the world," he wrote, "but the world chose to teach us instead. It took everything from us and gave us something better. Unity." His last words before closing the book were simple. Maybe this is what evolution really means. And as the sun set over the peaceful earth, the light touched the oceans, and for a moment, a faint blue glow pulsed beneath the waves. Like a heartbeat, steady, eternal, alive, Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a guardian, a teacher, and a living memory of everything humanity had become, watching over them in silence, waiting for the day it might be needed once more.